Hey, hello, hi, everybody. It is Suzanne Worthley back with another podcast of Energy Unleashed with my co-host, Kim Hess.
Hello.
Hey, Kim. Uh,
Hi.
Obviously, we're still up at the cabin. We are living up here for quite a few weeks. We're so excited to be able to have some really beautiful weather up here. Hopefully, we can do some stargazing tonight because we're coming into some pretty powerful time of the year. And typically, these podcasts are around client sessions that I have, and then we unleash it with Kim. But we're going to kind of give it a different twist because this is going to just be kind of a shorter pop on the idea that we're coming to Lionsgate. It
Mhm.
is one of my favorite times of the year. So for people that don't know what Lionsgate is, every single month we have the potential to do some really serious manifesting when we hit a monthly portal, meaning 1/1, 2/2, 3/3, January 1, February 2, et cetera, et cetera. But when we get to August 8th, it is the halfway point of the year. And this is what really lands right in between summer solstice, which was on the 21st of June. And then it sets everything up from that time period to really lock in at the portal of Lionsgate on 8/8. And then that sets the trajectory for the rest of into equinox in the fall, but more so all the way through winter solstice.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Kim, but I mean, we talk about Lionsgate a lot because we know we always get our butt kicked. I mean,
Yeah.
it's big, right? I
Big
mean, it's
change. Every time we get to August 8th, I am amazed that the change, whether it's for me personally or if it's just in the world or
yeah.
a consciousness of one or something. There's just like you can feel whatever change that is.
And it's been kind of, and I know, oh, I want to point this out too, by the way. When we have a portal or an equinox or a solstice, whatever these heightened dates are, it's not just the day. It's always got the bridge in the front, the bridge in the back. So if somebody's like, "Oh my god, I didn't do anything on the 8th," that doesn't matter. It's literally like the week prior, the day of, the week post. And so this is a bridge kind of a time period when we can do the work. And I know that this year is going, a lot of other people on podcasts, a lot of other energy workers, ourselves included, have been talking about something's up, man. I mean, it's right.
I think energy is changing a
It's like
lot.
shit's happening out
Yeah.
there. I don't know if we can necessarily see it or know it, but it's happening out
It's
there, right?
happening because my
Yeah.
body feels it. It feels
Yeah.
it.
I was laying in bed and our cabin area is I believe that there was a lot of native energy here. And so it's a very activated area. And I also have an entire yard of cedar trees, which are very strong. Laying in bed last night, my body was just like, "Woo, woo, 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 woo," like almost like a pulsing, and I could feel it. And I'm like, wow, that's so crazy. So I know that there's activations going on already in conjunction with this stuff. Now, I had a very large solstice celebration in my yard this year for
Mhm.
my online community called Vibe Tribe, and Kim was there. And God, what do you think? Close to 50 people, maybe
Oh, yeah,
40, 50,
for
maybe.
sure. It was really great, yeah.
It was awesome, and I mean, to be able to come together and have face-to-face, prayer ceremony. We do what's called a despacho ceremony, which I learned in Peru. It's a prayer ceremony that we build, and burn and drum and eat and drink and be merry. And I have been doing some pretty serious, tenacious manifesting this year,
Mhm.
with the launch of the new book, with some
Mhm.
other things that are projects that are coming to fruition, etc. I've been on top of my manifesting, I think. How are you doing?
Oh, yeah, I've been putting a lot of time in my meditations, the journaling
Yeah.
and writing down, what I want, how I like trying to do more visual of seeing things how I'd like them to be. So yeah, I've been putting some time into it, but be careful how you do that though, because um Sunday we had a big storm here, and before that, we were looking at adding to our dock or getting a new dock. And with my husband, I'm like, you know what? We just need a new dock. Let's get a new dock, and we can keep the old one and use it differently or whatever. And so I had actually in my meditation, I'm like, okay, we're looking for a new dock. This is what I want it to look like. And Sunday
And
night,
I was over at your cabin having a glass of wine,
you were, and we were hanging out. I'm like, I think we're getting a new
hanging
dock,
out
you
in your
know?
screen porch, and all of a sudden it's like, I think I gotta get moving. I'm only a couple
Yeah.
doors down. I'm like, I gotta jump on my bike and go home because it looks like crap out. And
She
then
rode her bike with her basket home, before the storm started.
and
Um,
man,
yeah. So what happened is straight line wind hit our dock, took it like a kite, flipped it over, and hit part of our pontoon
yeah.
upside down, wheels up. And I sat there. I mean, the storm was crazy. The wind with
And it
hail,
was
wind.
so fast, and it was
Yeah.
over and done within like
It
what,
was a
12 minutes
tiny
of that?
red bubble,
Yeah,
like it only probably hit our lake, or,
yeah.
it, nothing else. And so I'm like, I told Suzanne the next day, she came over to look at it. I said, well, I guess I should have been a little more clear about the new dock, because we obviously have to get one now. Ours is mangled and our boat is damaged. So
Yes. Yeah,
just
it
be
was
clear.
impaled. It was the freakiest thing. So again, I'm only 2 doors down or so, and I looked down my dock to see her to see if she was out that morning, and my mouth like dropped open, like, what is happening down there? And I texted her and then ran down on my way to see what happened. And it was impaled, it was on the crunched and twisted. So we laughed so hard because that was one of the first things you said. I was
Yeah,
manifesting a new doc. So I thought that that was super funny. I mean, obviously it's not funny, but it was
I
fun.
know. Brad's like, can you put a little more detail next time when you're
Well,
looking at
actually, I
something?
was going to jump in on that because here's one of the things that I give to my clients for advice when we're doing manifesting. Like you said, you wrote it down, you thought of it, etc. What one wants to also do with manifesting, if they choose to really make things happen, is the feel. And this is something that was left out of that whole series when The Secret came out, the book, the movie, blah, blah. Oh, I want a red bike. And then I get a red bike, because I thought of a red bike. Well, if we feel the red bike, it even comes stronger and quicker, I believe, in terms of manifestation, because we want to feel the flow of the bike. I want to feel the wind going through my hair. I want to feel the
Mhm.
freedom of my bike. So when you're doing your journaling, make sure, if you choose to make it really lock in, feel the feels as well, not just write and think and visualize, because the feel center is the strong emotional glue. So
Yeah, it's like
journaling,
even that's such a good point, because health is always something that I'm working on and
yep.
manifesting. And but you know I never have gone to that step of, I have periodically, but to really put the feel of
Yep.
what I want this to feel like. That's a great point. I
It's a
never.
really important point because
Yeah.
it's the trinity of the energy. Because we have the thought is the male God father frequency, the action is the child frequency, but the mother God is the emotional frequency, the feel center. So, in order to make the trinity, meaning positive, neutral, negative, it's like a battery. Energy moves when we have all three working in unison. So,
Mm,
if we're only doing thought and action, it's only 2/3 of it. So, we really want to make sure that we're getting that third mechanic in there.
right.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
you know what? That's amazing, because I think periodically I do it that way, but I never, to think of it in the Trinity, I
Yeah.
wasn't doing it. Yeah.
Think of it like a battery,
Yeah.
positive, neutral, negative. It's super
Mhm.
easy to keep in mind that way. So when we're doing these kinds of manifestations, basically what we wanted to dovetail into is the law of attraction. Now,
Mhm.
I've said before that I have an online community called Vibe Tribe. That's what we did for Solstice, but it's also the month, every month I pull a tarot card randomly, and I randomly pull it seriously. And this month, it was all about the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And I was laughing hard because we were talking about manifesting Lionsgate, law of attraction. And I'm like, it just landed in the email today for all of the members. And so I encourage people, if you don't have someone that you study, consider looking at Vibe Tribe, because it is a monthly program that is amazing. It's all themed and it comes to you in your email, and it has an energy report. It has a meat memo telling you what to do with your body. It has a meditation every month having to do with the theme. It has a training video. It has a prayer that Kim writes that we're actually going to get into in a minute here. And it has a live webcast, all for the price of $33 a month. So
So
it's
reasonable.
yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's
And
incredibly pertinent information and timed according to what the universe pulls forward. And it talked a lot about the law of attraction this month. And I think when we're manifesting, it is critical for us to understand what the law of attraction really does, because I don't think people realize the flip side of the law of attraction as much as they maybe want to when they're manifesting, meaning tenacity of this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want is creating something. But law of attraction always says, this is what I don't want, this is what I don't want. I'm worried about this, I don't want that, I can't have the. That's creating just as much, if not more, because there's no one in the ethers going, I don't think they want that. All the ethers knows is the pounding out of the energetic field giving attention to something. So if I don't want something, I'm definitely creating it. So be aware of that as well in terms of the confusion, like with Kim's doc. I want a doc, but I want it in a safe manner. I want it in a ease and grace manner or whatever. Put the caveats a little bit more on to those manifestations, because it can just go bonkers out there.
Yeah, and I think it's important, because a doc is a doc. It's a materialistic thing, and it
Yeah.
wasn't,
It's just a good
I don't
metaphor.
want to put a lot of, whatever into it, but a relationship, that I don't want this relationship. And that's just you when you put it out like that, you're going to stay in that relationship. It's going to continue. If not with that person, another person is going to come along with the
Right.
same kind of things that you didn't
Frequency.
like about the other person. You're putting out the negative, and that is just going to keep bringing it around.
It's the bat signal. It's putting out exactly what is going to come to you, whether you don't want it or not. So the law of attraction can be very, I think, confusing for people. I really do. I think it's hard. And
It is hard.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think about when I first started coming to see you, I'm like, I don't want my job. I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be, I don't want this. I don't want, and you're like, what are you doing? Like all those things are coming at you in full force because
Yeah.
you're putting it out there. And I'm like, what? It took
And
me a while to come
even to
around
the
to that.
extent of worry about people. Let's do this one. Oh, my kid is, suffering so much in his relationship. I don't want him to be sad. I don't want him to be sad. I don't want him to struggle. Then you're just supporting that potentiality too. I can't create the struggle for my child, but my perspective draws in more support for it to be that same
Yeah.
way. So even this extends to our outer circles as well. So this is an important thing to understand too, that I'm giving negative energy to others as well when I'm in a worry pattern, with that law of attraction not working on my side, right?
It took me a long time, especially around children,
Yeah.
to really back out and be neutral about what they're doing, what they have going on, and not have that worry.
Mhm.
Honestly, I don't worry about them.
I
I
really don't worry very much either, which is really
Mhm.
lovely, and I cannot tell you the amount of clients that I come, across that are just losing their ever loving mind over worry, and it's really for naught, because you're not doing anything other than rumination. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
I
not
want
happy.
to I want to round down on one more thing that I'm struggling with. Manifesting wise, I use affirmations a lot,
Mhm,
and I have a wonderful bevy of them, I might say, on YouTube that I just sort of play in the background,
mhm,
like when I'm doing dishes or getting ready in the morning or whatever, about health and wellness or abundance or money or whatever, and I just kind of rotate them in and out. And then I'll find myself in like 2 weeks, like, oh God, I haven't done that forever.
yeah.
Or, oh, wow, I haven't thought of that. Oh, wow, I haven't even manifested. Oh, wow, I haven't even. And I think that's human nature. And I just guess I want to toss this into the conversation, because I do this for a living. I help people do this. I teach this. I do it myself, and I still
Yeah,
suck at it.
right. Well, and it's interesting that when you remember, it's because it's like, why are things going like this? Like, what is
Yeah.
the, and then it's like, oh, wow, I haven't been journaling. I haven't been listening to positive,
Mhm.
or even podcasts that are, positive that way.
Yep.
And you just kind of go into that place. You're like, oh my God. All right, it's time to come back out again and get on
Isn't
top.
it weird? I just
Mhm.
I don't understand, even with the heightened knowledge that I have, why I can't lock into that and have it just be such a more conditionalized core behavior. It's just weird. I
Well, I
mean,
think I get distracted by all the 3D stuff, and when I get really distracted with just whether it's family or doing things or projects or whatever, that's when I kind of fall off a little bit, and then I realize, wow, okay, it's time to get back into this. because I
So
don't feel as good.
do you have a little anything that you do to keep on track?
Well, I started listening to your YouTube, like the affirmations.
Yep.
But mostly for me, it's journaling,
Okay.
and music. I start to listen to different kinds of music that are more positive, but also higher in the frequencies.
Right.
That makes a difference for me too. I think it just gets my body moving in a different way.
I think a really great tip for others also is to just pull a card.
Yeah.
Because if I have an array of tarot and oracle and every kind of card under the friggin' sun, I've got like a pile of them in my healing room. And if I find myself off track, all it takes is one card pull.
Weird.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then boom, I'm right back. I'm just
Yeah.
completely back. And I think some practicum of that is kind of easy to do. For example, stick it by your toothbrush, and just pull a card a day kind of a thing. And I think
Mhm.
something as simple as that is really a beautiful little way to incorporate that. And I don't want to say control because it's not about control. It's just
Mhm.
about practice.
It's a
It's a practice.
reminder because
Yeah.
whatever the message that comes up, it's like, oh yeah, it totally fits with my me in that time
Yep.
in that place. Which then triggers thoughts that take you back on track where you want to be.
And that's why I think when we do a card pull for Vibe Tribe every month, when I do that material, every single month it makes sense because that's how the universe works. It always, and people don't believe me that I pull them random, and I really, really do. And it just makes me giggle because every single solitary time
I've
it's
been with you
us.
when you pulled them. I'm like,
Yeah.
it blows
I
my mind
even let you
because
pull one once just because
yeah,
you were like, that can't happen. And you pulled it and it was still right on.
it's
So
spot
again,
on.
this month is the law of attraction. I truly encourage everyone to think about the law of attraction between now and Lionsgate, work through that whole time period of manifestation with the law of attraction, and remembering what you really, really want, you get. What you really, really don't want, you get. So
Yes.
this is what we would call a traditional meaning or a keyword of the card pull that we did this month. And I'm going to let you go ahead and move into, this is the prayer that normally would only be for members. And we say this every month. They have it come to them in their package every month, but we read this together and meditate with it online when we do our live webcast. So I encourage anyone that wants help and assistance, look into Vibe Tribe on my website at sworthley.com, which I believe was below in the description on all YouTube. So
Mhm.
think about that. And I'm going to kind of let you take it from here. So if anybody wants to just enjoy this for a moment, just go ahead and take a nice deep breath. You can close your eyes if you want to. Kim's just going to read this beautiful prayer, and she does them all organic and original every single month. And thank you for that.
This is the first time I'm reading one that's on the YouTube, so it's kind of fun. Law of attraction. Some days are more difficult than others in discerning what is mine and what is not. The swirl of negative propaganda, my personal challenges, and challenges of others around me are allowing continuous negative thoughts. As I go through my day, these thoughts escalate. I realize I feel unsafe. I just don't feel good. I'm absorbing from others their fear, their discouragement, their worry, and their anger. I take a step back from my surroundings and I feel through intuition that my boundaries are wide open. And the negative thoughts keep coming faster and faster. I pray in love and light to my higher self, my angels, and my guides to bring forward angelic healing light, to surround me in the warmth of universal love, to protect me from that which is not of my highest and greatest good, to grant me the courage to feel what is mine and to gracefully acknowledge it and move it through me in release, to grant me the ability to see what is not mine and to gracefully move it through me in release, to grant me the discipline to protect my energy boundaries frequently from that which is not for my highest and greatest good. I understand that my choice in vibration attracts more of that vibration. I choose to surrender myself to the universe and to live in the vibration of love. I acknowledge that being in this love vibration, what I ask for from the universe, and if it's meant for me, will come swiftly. I am worthy and I am grateful to be me. So be it.
Yay. I love that. What I said, I'm going to do it like every
Yeah.
day, all the way through the 8th.
I know I always get so emotional when I read them, or when you read them on your Vibe Tribe. I'm like, it's because it's usually like 2 or 3 weeks after I've written it, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh yeah. It's just like,
That was a really good one though. I mean, you do beautiful work every single month, but this is I think a super deep one. And do you want to just tell before we sign off kind of how you do prayer? Because this is really what you've come into in the last couple of years, and it's really kind of coming through you in a beautiful way now.
Yeah, I actually am writing prayer for other people now too. And I open up myself to my angels, guys, higher self, but I also call in the archangels, and I become a vessel for the words, basically. So when I put out the person, what they're struggling with, what they have, or what they're looking for in their prayer, I put that in as a kind of the offering for what we're asking for from, the guidance of the angels. And so basically I'm a vessel for the words. They come through fairly easily, as I do it more, it's
Mhm.
becoming more fluid,
Mhm.
for sure. And then yeah, it just is an amazing gift that I am honored to share with others.
Yeah. And thank
Yeah.
you for it. Does everything come in at once, or do you have to revisit it?
Yeah, well, it usually takes me about 3 hours or so, trying to like go through the information of what this is about. But I sit in kind of a prayer state, a meditative
Hmm.
state, and then the concept starts to become more real of what the prayer will be about. And
Wow.
then the words start to flow as I start to write. Then I go back and revisit and retweak, and I'll read it out loud, and
Yeah.
it'll be like, oh yeah, no, this needs to change, or that needs to change, or whatever it might be. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
it is amazing. It's
Do you hear the words in your head as you're typing it, or do your fingers just type?
I usually write it by hand,
Oh, you do? That's
and
cooler.
I will get through like 3 or 4 lines, and there'll be a hesitation, and I'll go back and read it. It's like, wow, that was really great. Like,
Yeah.
and so then I might get stuck a little bit once in a while. So I'll walk away for a few minutes and come back, and then it like comes back in again.
And
So
I think it's similar to like when I'm in the flow of a book sometimes, because you'll go back and you'll read your own writing and you're like,
wow,
hey, that's kind of good.
good.
Who wrote that?
I know, I know.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to surrender my ego and control in with that, to just honestly, I am your vessel.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So it's getting more fluid as I do it more, but yeah, it's a real privilege, and I'm just very honored to be able to do this. I never saw myself as a writer of anything
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
I hated writing papers and reading poetry. I mean,
Same.
poetry is okay, but it wasn't me, I didn't
Yeah.
think. So it's really cool.
Before we go off, who else would want to have you write a prayer? What were they about? Like, what was the need of the person, for example?
Well, through friends, just
Okay.
feeling a little stuck, or they've had something traumatic happen in their life, and or they feel change happening. And
Okay.
so I have several people that I've written prayers for multiple times, because they're like, all right, this prayer, I used it, and I feel like I'm in a place where I need a new one.
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
which is really awesome, because they've been growing and changing. So now what's that next one? And I was really, I thought I'll write a prayer, they'll read it once, and then what happens with it? And many of these people, they use it religiously,
Right.
honestly,
Right.
very consistently. And so I thought that was really cool, because it's putting
That's very,
positive,
very cool.
and it's helping them through whatever change or transition they're going through.
Right. And I
Yeah.
know that you've done one for some people that were suffering through a death process.
Mhm. Yeah, I wrote one actually, when my aunt was
Mhm.
in the final stages of her death process. I woke up, I was awakened, they woke me up and said, "You
Yep.
need to write a prayer for your aunt." And I'm like, Right now? Okay." And so I started jotting down like 2 or 3 lines, and that's all I got. So I fell back to sleep. And then the next morning I picked it up. I'm like, oh, okay. So I finished the prayer, and my parents and I went in, and I read the prayer to her, and it was that within 24 hours she passed away. But it was really
Yeah.
it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
your support group, your angels are here.
Right.
It's okay. Don't worry about your stuff. We've got you, you
Like a
know.
permission prayer. Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is
And
amazing.
both of my parents were in tears because they're like, where did she get that? Like, what, where
Right.
did that come from? But
And
yeah,
I know, and I commissioned a prayer for my own mother from Kim, and
yes.
she called my mother, who is now 89, and she called my mom and kind of interviewed her of sorts, I guess is what we could say, asked her whatever questions came through Kim for whatever reason, and did design and develop this beautiful prayer. And then it was done really great in a, artwork and framed. And my mom lost her marbles over that. She
Yeah.
was so in awe that someone would think like that or talk like that
Yeah.
about her so-called qualities, and I know that that was super special for her, and she
Yeah.
did also use it quite often. I don't know if she does right now. I should even ask her because it's been a while, but, yeah, she would do it daily as well. It's
Yeah.
like a devotional, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
very cool.
I just, I'm changing how I'm using my time so that I can do this more. I have a lot of people in my life right now that are going through some tough things. So my goal is to start writing and gifting
Yeah.
prayers for some of these people. So,
Very cool. Well, you can't pick a better place to do it. I mean, you got a beautiful background up here, so
oh, absolutely.
right? All right, everybody. So again, law of attraction, be careful what you want, how you're doing it, how you're setting the order to the universe, if you choose to listen to any of this today. And remember, Lionsgate 8-8, week before, week after, kind of that whole time period is great for manifestation. Lionsgate will again set you up for the trajectory of how you land the second half of your year. So when manifesting and looking at that Lionsgate, really think of that kind of half of a calendar year. It's not just that, oh, what do I want on August 8th? So
Mhm.
it's kind of like, where do I want to land the plane? Then I lock it again in fall equinox, and then I really land the plane in winter solstice. So these are powerful, powerful portals. This one is about Leo, Sirius, Orion's belt, the Earth. It's all when everything lines up. It's a very astrologically powerful time period. And yeah, it's a portal, and these suckers are strong. So watch that law of attraction. Watch what you really, really want, and watch what you really, really don't want.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else from you?
No, I just leave comments, on
Yep.
anything, any topics, things you'd like to hear. We're
Where can they
definitely
find you
open.
where can they get a hold of you if they wanted prayer?
Oh gosh, I didn't put in front of me. They could leave a comment and
Okay.
we can check the comments, and
Or you can
I
always
will
email me or
put
go through my website too,
I
because
will
we
put my or not my email address out there that they
okay,
can get a hold of me
cool.
in the wording of the podcast.
Awesome. Awesome. And hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe button, share with your friends if you choose to, which we hope you do.
Mhm.
And until next time, everybody, on behalf of us, cosmic hugs.
Goodbye.